Welcome to Podcasts, recorded live at the Center for Spiritual Living in Portland, Oregon. We have many programs, classes, and workshops developed just for our online audience. To find out more, go to our website at csoportland.org and look under the Online tab. Our mission is to open hearts, ignite minds, and make a difference. If you'd like to support our center and its video podcast, you can donate online at csoportland.org/donate. Allow us to become part of your extended spiritual community. Wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are most welcome at the Center for Spiritual Living.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning online. Well, this is the global theme of the year is living out loud. I know I can do that. And February is the month of looking at curiosity as a supreme power. And if you were not here last week or did not listen online, please go and listen to last week's service. Reverend Christine Green did a fascinating job. Perfect. And it just flows right into today. I was listening to it and I thought, she is so right on. So if you did watch it or if you were here, there was homework. So maybe you did it and maybe you didn't, but you can always catch up. Okay, so listen to that service. It was just perfect. So today, we delve into curiosity by taking a closer look at the life of an oyster to help us out. I mean, don't you do that every day? Like look at an oyster and say, okay, how does that apply to my life? Well, here's some really important information that you need to know, and it'll be perfect for the next time you play Trivial Pursuit. So listen up. Oysters can live up to 20 years and can produce usually 1 to 2 beads each time they nucleate. More to come on that later. 1 oyster out of 10,000 will create a pearl naturally that takes anywhere from 6 months to 20 years to produce, depending upon if it's freshwater or saltwater, and will produce only a few pearls in a lifetime. No wonder they're so unique and precious, right? Okay, now let's get into nucleation. Doesn't that just sound interesting? Which basically means to form into a nucleus, which is what the oyster does to create a pearl. So from the Natural Museum, History Museum website, I found this out. More information for Trivial Pursuit. Despite what many people may think, pearls aren't the result of an errant speck of sand weaseling its way inside the shell of an unsuspecting mollusk. Didn't we all always think it was the sand? Yeah. It's not. Isn't that amazing? We learn something new every day. In fact, sand, which is common in the aquatic environments where mollusks live, isn't involved at all. Instead, pearls are formed when an irritant, I think we can all relate, such as a food particle or a parasite, slips between the shell of an oyster or other mollusk and lodges into the mantle, which is the muscular wall where its internal organs are located. In an act of self-defense, the invertebrate oozes a liquid containing a carbonate mineral and a protein, and as the secretion intermingles with the intruder, it creates a material called nacre, or mother of pearl. Over time, these layers of nacre turn into what eventually becomes a pearl. So does this bring about a little bit of curiosity today as to what the heck this has to do with us? Well, let's take that curiosity and look within. First, the irritant entering an oyster can be transformed into a magnificent pearl. The irritant ignites the oyster into action to relieve that discomfort that it's feeling. I mean, can you feel that? I mean, I can totally relate to an oyster. It intuitively uses that which is already present in the environment to alter the irritant. We too can transform our world and the world around us by addressing that which is causing discomfort in our lives. And we may find that all we need already lies within. The pearl is the wisdom we receive from this transformation. And as we go through life and are irritated by various things and people and ideas, we go within and transform those ideas, transform around us while creating a pearl, which is the wisdom, covering it up layer upon layer upon layer with new choices, new desires, right action, new thoughts, all supported and inspired by the divine that lives within. So you can see we get irritated, and then we allow that God presence, that love, whatever it is, our curiosity to go in and create what is it that I need now to help me remove this irritant. And whatever that is, we look at it. We're curious about it. Every time we look at it, we put another layer of nacre on, and another layer, and another layer. And eventually it's like, I get it now. And what do we create? This beautiful pearl essence. So this process can take a moment, or it can take a lifetime, depending upon how attached we are to pain in our lives and how open we are to surrendering to the divine. So let's have my favorite 14th century Persian poet Hafiz help us again here. All you know from maybe 3 weeks ago how much I love Hafiz. He says this: "You don't have to act crazy anymore. We all know you were good at that. Now retire, my dear, from all that hard work you do of bringing pain to your sweet eyes and heart. Look in the clear mountain water and the mirror. See the beautiful ancient warrior and the divine elements you always carry inside that infused this universe with sacred life so long ago and join you eternally with all existence, with God." It's that releasing and letting go, that curiosity. What is God wanting to do with me right now in this moment? Well, if the oyster didn't choose to address the irritant that caused such discomfort, we would never experience the beauty of the pearl. Think about that. If the oyster didn't address the irritant that caused the discomfort, we would never experience the beauty of it. I would never get to experience the beauty of you, each of you. You would never get to experience the beauty of me. When we do address the discomfort, we come to a place of light, and we always do. We always do, in order to experience and express the beauty of who we are, of that one within. And like the oyster, taking its time, the perfect amount of time to create the pearl, we need to take time too. Holmes says this: "We do not change all of the patterns of our thoughts in a moment. Rather, it takes place little by little until gradually the old thought patterns become transformed into new ones by some inner alchemy of the mind." That's the curiosity, the wanting to change, the shifting ideas, beliefs, understandings, putting a layer of nacre on one after another in our own time. It takes time. So think of a time, like Amy was singing, I was cracking up when you were saying all those words. I'm thinking, this is it. Think of a time when you were totally crushed, when something happened in your life, a time when your heart was broken, maybe you lost a job, or some event that catapulted you into the darkness. Now, I want you to choose something that's already in the past, that you've healed and moved through and revealed. And think about those feelings for a second. When was that time that you were crushed. Oh, gosh, I can remember my first breakup. Ugh. I thought I would never live again. We all made it. Each one of us made it through that, right? You're here today, and I asked you to think of something in the past. So you've revealed whatever that is in you. Your curiosity created whatever that was for that beautiful pearl and wisdom to come out of you, through you. So we made it out of that dark tunnel, out of the rabbit hole. Now don't stay there. Come back here. So why move at all? Why want to get out of the rabbit hole? Because God, Spirit, Source, lives in and through you. And God wants to experience this lifetime right now through each one of us. And each of us is unique, just like the pearls are unique. It's that uniqueness that we allow to come out into the world. God would not have it any other way. God's going to move through you and move your feet always. The desire for this movement shows up out of curiosity. And curiosity is the nucleation process within us that God has created so that we can grow and become all that we are meant to be. The pearl of great price, that which God is showing through us. Ernest Holmes says it this way: nature will not let us stay in one place too long. Darn it. Nature demands the change in order that we may advance. When the change comes, we should welcome it with a smile on our lips and a song in the heart. Yeah, right. Thank you, Ernest. As that stuff gets in there, that irritant gets in there, we should welcome it with a smile. Joy. Do you ever feel like you're working through the same crap? It's just a different day? Yeah. That you didn't get it the first time so that you get another opportunity and another and sometimes another? Well, thinking about Ernest then, this is wonderful news. We grow in an upward spiral. So think about that. As you're going through the spiral, each time you come to this certain space on the spiral, you're at a higher level of awareness and observation, correct? And then you go around the loop again, and here it is again. Oh, joy. A smile. Think about that. So every time you come to that one part where you're thinking, oh, here it comes again. I thought I worked through this. You're actually curious as to why this irritant is here, and you're adding another layer of nacre. And guess what? The more layers of nacre that you develop on that one issue, whatever it is, can you imagine how big that pearl is by the time that you're done with it? Huge. Now, some things we don't go through that many times. We get it and we move on, and then we can smile easily, right? But think about the curiosity that it takes to delve into this same thing, whatever that irritant is, over and over and over again. Those things don't happen on accident. God has a plan for us. So if I've had to work on kindness many times, by the time I get to that place of like, well, why not kindness? Why not? Be kind. Last week, Rev. Christine talked about purpose. So again, I want you to go back to last week and think about that. What is that purpose for you? Mine, I would say, as Catherine mentioned, sparkle. Another story for another time. And so that's what I have taken and bring with me where I go. That's my desire. So what is it for you? Think about that. Each time we have an irritant around us, we have the opportunity to look within over and over. And it is fascinating if we can just stop and surrender and look ever deeper. None of us is ever going backwards. We can't. We're not the same people that are in this moment as we were even before we walked into this space. We're just not. We can't be. It's the act of always moving forward, with the divine sometimes pushing us from behind. So Hafiz talks about this process. There's a beautiful creature living in a hole you have dug. So at night, I set fruit and grains and little pots of wine and milk beside your soft earthen mound, and I often sing. But still, my dear, you do not come out. I have fallen in love with someone who's inside of you, who should talk about this problem. Otherwise, I will never leave you alone. God within never leaves us alone. Why? Because God's moving in, through, and as us. And that divinity creates the curiosity to want to keep moving forward. And how do I know that we're all doing it? It's because we're all here in this moment. And we have all had irritants in our lives. And we've made it through. Some of us have an amazing string of pearls to show for that. There is so much to see and do in the mind of God, and the mind of God moving through us. So let's come out and enjoy that love of the divine that is ever and forever moving in and through us. So first off, we have the irritation that creates the space for us to use curiosity as a form which is God moving through us. Second, think about this for a minute. The oyster's pearl, to be revealed, the shell must be opened. And usually that happens because of heat. An open fire is usually used to perform that action. This can be true for us as well, as we reveal our pearls to the world. Often change, which is change. Was that not the song? Change, change, change. Change, new ideas require a strong conviction and a hefty dose of fire-filled passion to activate that moment into our world. So here we are creating all of these pearls, but how do we get through them? It's through that fire, the fire in our belly, that passion that God lives and moves in and through us and comes out that way, through that passion. So as we work through that process of continually becoming all that we can be, with God as our source within, our fire, once again, our curiosity gets the best of us. And we can't help but move forward, grow, and be the light, and show the light of who we are into this world. If you're going through something right now, remember from the times before that we just thought about, that event, whatever that was that just crushed you, where you surrendered to your curiosity. You made it through. You made it through, and you always will. You always will. Why? Because you're here. Because the divine wants to live as brightly as possible in the world, and it is through you, it's through each one of us that creates the love and the peace and the joy, which are all aspects of the divine, which we represent in the world. So the divine invites us each and every moment to be curious about life and to dance in its rhythms. Eventually, we become that which God had intended for us, kicking or screaming. Hafiz says it this way: you have been invited to meet the friend. No one can resist a divine invitation. That narrows down to our two choices. We can come to God dressed for dancing, or be carried on a stretcher to God's award. I think I'm going to walk to God. Have I been carried on a stretcher? Many times to God. Thus the big pearls. We may as well string our pearls and come dressed for the greatest party of all time in every moment of every day. We could also become a flapper, with all their pearls. So irritation, fire, and passion, and then we become the change that we want to see in the world. Each of us has a desire to see change in the world, especially in the conditions that cause discomfort in our hearts. But we don't always know how to get started. It can feel overwhelming, and we often give up before we even get started. We can approach it one small step at a time, or one large step, whatever is perfect for you. So start by changing your thoughts, your actions, and become that change. Become love. The love that you want to see. First in your personal world, and then moving that out into the bigger world. How do we do that? Again, from Hafiz. Go for a walk if it is not too dark. Get some fresh air. Try to smile. Say something kind to a safe-looking stranger if one happens by. Always exercise your heart's knowing. You might as well attempt something real along the path. Take your spouse or lover into your arms the way you did when you first met. Let tenderness pour from your eyes the way the sun gazes warmly on the earth. Play a game with some children. Extend yourself to a friend. Sing a few ribald songs to your pets and plants. Why not let them get drunk and wild? Let's toast every rung we've climbed on evolution's ladder. Whisper, I love you, to the whole mad world. Let's stop reading about God. We will never understand him. Jump to your feet, wave your fists, threaten, and warn the whole universe that your heart can no longer live without real love. Isn't that great? Just tell the world, I'm going to live only with real love. Put your foot down. Get that knacker working on those pearls, creating those pearls. It's always about taking small steps, right? Each and every day as we move, because we can't help it. We truly can't. Because we have this unique essence about us, and God moving through us, creating that fire that opens us up to want to be the light. Share our gifts. Whatever that purpose is for you, again, referencing last Sunday. Now, are you curious? Do you want to go back and listen to that? Or again, if you haven't? So there's no turning back, only pearls to create. Remember yet again, you are never alone because we are all one. There is one of us. And I say it, I think, every time I'm here. One power, one presence moving in, through, and as each one of us. So some of you may have heard this story before, so just breathe it in. It's about being in service. One day, a man was walking along the beach when he noticed a boy picking something up and gently throwing it into the ocean. Approaching the boy, he asked, "What are you doing?" The youth replied, "Throwing starfish back into the ocean. The surf is up and the tide is going out. If I don't throw them back, they'll die." "Son," the man said, "don't you realize there are miles and miles of beach and hundreds of starfish? You can't make a difference." After listening politely, the boy bent down, picked up another starfish, and threw it back into the surf. Then, smiling at the man, he said, "I made a difference to that one." This is the only way to change the world, as the starfish shows to decide what that is for you that you want to be in the world and how you want to change the world. Knowing that each life you've touched matters, if only for one day, and if only for one person at a time. One step at a time, one person at a time, one starfish at a time. one layer of nacre at a time. We must be the change that we wish to see in the world. It comes from inside. When we're presented with a situation in our lives or the world is calling to our attention, we get to work on that transformation. And then, with our fire, that passion, reveal it, whatever that is. We begin first with our inner work and then take the action needed. What do we always say? We treat and move our feet. Leon Brown said, "Never underestimate the value and important difference you make in every life you touch, for the impact you make today has a powerful rippling effect on every tomorrow." So this week, be curious. Actually, I'm going to change that because I already know you are, because God's creating that curiosity in you. Recognize your curiosity. Recognize how God works through you. If you just so happen to have an irritant around you at all, maybe you won't this week. Good for you, so you can smile easily. But if you happen to have an irritant, think about what it is God trying to work in you, to have you notice, to recognize. And then put a layer of nacre on that. And then if it comes up again, you're going to make a bigger pearl. Look at it again. Put another layer of nacre on. Because it's that inside job that creates the nacre, remember? That curiosity that God is putting in us and has put in us from the time we were created. Imagine this week with recognizing your curiosity and what the irritants are in your life, the beautiful chain of pearls that you're going to create and have by next Sunday. Each and every day, be curious. Allow the fire within you to help when you do that upward spiral on your path in this lifetime. Know that how you show up matters in this world. And most importantly, truly shine your light. It's needed. You are needed. Each one of you is needed in the world right now. So be curious. Let's pray. Divine presence. Knowing that right here and right now, each one of us has the opportunity to feel you working in our lives. Thank you for being and creating the irritants that come our way so that we can apply grace, contemplation, action, knowing that your fire and passion will reveal to us your highest idea. Each of us desiring to know how it is that we are to be used and utilized in this lifetime. Our uniqueness, our essence. Yes, there is some way that each of us can be a change that we want to see. So as we are curious, we become so wise. And this day and all days, I celebrate this wisdom. And I celebrate your divine presence moving in through and as us. So knowing this and knowing the beauty of each and every pearl that is so unique, I give great thanks for your irritation in my life. And I give great thanks for knowing that I have a purpose and that each person here and online has a purpose. And this week, as we shine our lights brightly, we see more and more what it is that is for us to do. Eyes open, hearts open, knowing your presence, and so it is. So it is. Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed today's podcast. If you happen to be in the Portland, Oregon area, we'd love to have you visit in person. The Portland Center for Spiritual Living is located at 6211 Northeast Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. Our inspirational service is at 11 a.m. every Sunday. We also have many programs, classes, and workshops developed just for our online audience. To find out more, go to our website at cslportland.org and look under the Online tab. We have a variety of content dedicated specifically for our podcast listeners. Our mission is to open hearts, ignite minds, and make a difference. If you'd like to support our center and its podcasts, you can donate online at cslportland.org/donate. Our website is also the place to learn more about what's going on at the center or to contact us. Allow us to become part of your extended spiritual community. Wherever you are in your spiritual journey, you are most welcome at the Center for Spiritual Living.